We're gonna wait for the post-fight interview. He whooped. Listen, I can't show y'all all of it, obviously. And it's been a very, very long 20-hour day for me. And I was falling asleep until I saw, how he just started opening up a pure KO whoop ass on Mr. Habib Ahmed. I'm surprised this dude didn't go down. After a while, he just started, literally, he was running around at one point in time, running from Gilberto Ramirez. He could do nothing. Where did they dig this guy up from? I don't know. Well, okay, he's from Ghana. This is his first fight fighting outside of Ghana. There was not a stitch. There was not a teaspoon. There was not a teaspoon of footage, of content for me to be able to research on this guy. Even the ESPN commentators were talking about how nobody knew nothing about this guy. How the hell did he get ranked? Whatever the case may be, we're here. I want to see him versus Jesse Hart again. Now, understanding the promotional shit that's going on, the political mumbo jumbo, you should know that there's only a certain amount of fighters that are free to fight who because of networks and whatever the case may be. We're going to look at the rankings, but I do want to hear what he wants to do next, because right now, here we have, let's go look at it right here. Here's the 168-pound division. You have David Benavidez, the WBC champion, George Groves, who's taking on Chris Eubank Jr. Look at this crazy shit. Here it is. Look at this. He was opening up and it's this little clip will not do it justice. This is just a minor piece of the purity of that ass whooping Mr. Ahmed was receiving. I'm talking about he was getting F'd in the A. I hope, truth be told, that, all jokes aside, all jokes aside, this is one of those fights where you have to hope that after the fight, he goes directly to the hospital and that he's okay, because he was taking so many of these shots right here. And I never seen Gilberto Ramirez at this stage in his career being so aggressive, It's crazy. And one thing they should have did was they should have fucking threw. This is his. They were showing his corner. They was watching him getting fucked up for too long. Even the referee, it went on way too long in my opinion. It just got so bad and outrageous to the point where Gilberto Ramirez, it literally looked like he just was like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna kill you in here." Thank God he didn't. I'm not saying he felt that way, but what I'm saying, it was brutal. So we're waiting for the post-fight interview. We're waiting for the post-fight interview.
Ramirez. We are going to hear from Zurdo Ramirez in moments. The champ.
Okay, well, here's how it lays out right now. David Benavidez is the WBC champion. He's fighting Ronald Gavro on the undercard of Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios on February the 17th. Right now, it's 12:21 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, February the 4th, 2018. These fighters, Benavidez and Gavro, Gavro is a Mayweather Promotions guy, and if he wins the WBC, we damn sure ain't going to be seeing him versus Gilberto Ramirez because of Floyd Mayweather and Bob Arum. Ramirez being a Bob Arum fighter, Gavro being a Mayweather Promotions fighter. You have David Benavidez, who's in the same boat. He fights on Showtime. Don't expect to see him fighting Gilberto Ramirez. However, you do have the winner of George Groves versus IBO champion Chris Eubank Jr. That fight with Gilberto Ramirez can possibly happen if he doesn't fight Jesse Hart next. Now, Caleb Truax, Al Heyman fighter, Andre Durrell, Al Heyman fighter, Caleb Truax, the IBF champion, after defeating James DeGale. So these guys are in the same boat as David Benavidez. When you look at the 168-pound division and look at, when you're a champion with the WBO, you have to fight one of these guys, one of these named guys right here. And the most logical name for me, if he can't get George Groves or Chris Eubank, whoever wins that, and he's been saying that he wants Gennady Golovkin if Gennady Golovkin moves up to 168, but that's not happening anytime soon, especially since Canelo and Golovkin 2 is in May. And then we don't know if they might do a trilogy or not. But you have that Jesse Hart rematch out there that is still a pretty. It's a respectable fight, and it's a fight that can hold its own card. You see what I'm saying? And then you have Rocky Felding out there. If Eddie Hearn wants to get him, a title shot. You have this guy right here who's rising up the rankings. He's been fighting on Box Nation BT Sports cards. Might as well count Jillian Love out. But outside of that, all these other names, you really don't know who they are. And it's time for Gilberto Ramirez, and maybe that was his thought process when he went out there and did that job he did on Ahmed. Is like, yo, I shouldn't even be fighting guys like this anymore, so I'm going to destroy him. And he literally did a demolition job on him. So what we're doing is we're waiting for the post-fight interview for Gilberto Ramirez. I'm really interested to see what is it that he wants to do. Also, on TstreeT Controversy, this is TstreeT Controversy Live with FightView360.com. We are looking for help. We need people for social media, graphic designers. We need writers. If you watch boxing and you love boxing and you want to get involved in the sport, make a little money, or have your expenses taken care of, if they're reasonable, obviously, then get on the team. Things are really, really advancing. We're at the end of the branding and the getting our name out there and learning the business. Now it's time to start, making money and giving it to you guys. So he whooped his ass. It was bad. So I guess we're going to hear his post-fight interview now. I'm glad he did that, though. I'm glad he didn't go the distance with this dude, I'm glad that this wasn't, because it wasn't a highly publicized fight. There wasn't nobody really talking about it. But I was like, oh, this is an ESPN fight tonight. And, since, like we've been starting the year off right here, and my job is to cover every single championship fight that's televised, I couldn't miss out on it, But sometimes it is rough because, sometimes even though I'm not doing anything illegal, I still get some issues.
Really important because we've been training a lot for this fight, and then we're training for the knockout, and we made it.
What was the key to getting the knockout? Those body shots were very
I'm glad he's embracing speaking
fight?
English.
That was because I never feel like frustrated all the time, keeping forward to him and try to hit the body.
Everybody wants to know what's next for you. 168-pound division has a lot of talent. Who would you like to fight next?
I would like to fight with anybody, unification, with other champion in Europe, England, whatever. I don't care. I'm ready for everybody. I'm ready for keep my belt. And Bob Arum, he promised me that the winner of the tournament, he can make that fight.
Okay.
And it's really interesting for me and for all the people. I want to be the best in my division, pound for pound fighter, and if I need to fight with the best.
I know you're wearing that hat today, the sombrero, and you want to wear it at home. How great would it be for you to get that fight at home finally?
It's really important because I don't disappoint anybody, and I keep my belt. That was my night, and I wanna go back my home with my family and my team too with my victory.
All right. Zurdo Ramirez with a huge win. Jesse Hart also with a big win. That's another fight that might be on the horizon as well.
Okay, so as you heard, he said Bob Arum promised him that he can secure the winner of George Groves and Chris Eubank Jr., as we were talking about earlier, which it makes, perfect sense for him to go that route, since the other fights in, with guys like David Benavidez or Caleb Truax or James DeGale or whoever has the belt, Andre Durrell, or used the guy, whoever has the belt at that time, is too much political stuff going on. But if they can't get George Groves and Chris Eubank or the winner of that, then you have that option of Jesse Hart again. Now, unfortunately for Jesse Hart, even though I felt it was a draw and people draw the first fight, and people think, oh, well, you're just saying that because you're from Philly. No, literally, and the reason why I got so far where I'm at right now on YouTube is because I don't be just taking people's side because of wherever the hell they from. For example, when I see Danny Garcia next Friday, right now it's the 4th right now, it's 12:27 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, I gotta ask him about Errol Spencer. What's gonna happen when I do my videos? People gonna be like, TstreeT, you punk ass reporter. You was there with Danny Garcia because you're from Philly. You ain't asking him about Errol Spence. I already know how y'all motherfuckers get down. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to Jesse Hart, it's the way it goes is, you've heard the saying before, you know, to be the man, you got to beat the man, or to be the champion, you have to beat the champion. And in his case, especially with the wisdom and the tutelage of Bernard Hopkins, and I love Bernard Hopkins to death, but sometimes he be on some weirdo shit, especially when, you know, he didn't give Joe Smith, the young fighter who was watching him as a kid, no props for beating him, you know? That's just like if you meet your idol and you get to fight your idol, you know, and it's like, oh shit, this is fucking Bernard Hopkins. I'm here on the big stage, and you beat him, and he don't show you no love. And you're like, damn, man, I used to be a little kid looking up to you and shit, man. You know, but you know, whatever the case may be, in Jesse Hart's case, in regards to Jesse Hart, what I'm saying is, in my opinion, the fight was a draw. And in a lot of people's opinion, the fight was a draw. And many people didn't think he would recover from that knockdown, especially what happened in the Deshaun Johnson fight. You know, but after a while, he didn't fear Gilberto Ramirez's power. And in the rematch, now that Jesse Hart got that first round knockout and didn't play no games with that dude, Gilberto Ramirez went in there and with the same mentality didn't play no games, even though he got the knockout later. Still, both of them looked extra sharp. So now they're better fighters from that first fight, right? It makes sense, you know? So it's going to be interesting to see what Gilberto Ramirez is going to do, and also what Jesse Hart is going to do, because he still is ranked #1 by the WBO. But you can be #1 and not be the mandatory. I've been trying to explain it to people in previous videos. So he could, you know, fight a guy like we talked about, like a Rocky Felding or something like that. Maybe, you know, get some of that international money, you know, in a guy like a Rocky Felding, depending on, you know, how they put that together. But besides that, all the other guys is just, you know, maybe they can, you know, dig up Arthur Abraham, you know, for Jesse Hart as like a measuring stick to see if he can get somebody like Arthur Abraham out of here, even though Chris Eubank Jr., you know, had beat him, and we know Arthur Abraham's got like a lot of city miles on him, you know, all that stop and go traffic. He's had a very, very long career, even though he's not even that old, you know. Nonetheless, TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. Thank God I can go to bed. You know, put out 10 videos today. Been working since 4 a.m. It's 12:30 a.m. right now. So that's like what, 21 hours or something. I don't even remember, man. I'm too tired. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media, as you can see, has been popping right up at FightView 360 or at TstreeT Controversy. Please subscribe.